Straight from Old Town Alexandria. I'm pleased to have a great guest today. He is the host and creator extraordinaire of I Know Some Things, but I Didn't Know It All podcast. Shane, thank you for coming on with me, man. I I'm I'm just overrun with energy right now to get this thing going. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, man. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Well, not too terribly long ago, you and I recorded an interview for your podcast, and it came out today. And
Mhm.
you put a little bit of that stank on it. You put a little you did a little audio engineering on it, and that I truly appreciate. And while heavy metal may not be my go-to, your intro is dope as fuck. Let me just get that out
Thanks, man. I tried to
there.
blend all the main genres of music that I've made over the years together.
That's right. It's got a little taste of that rap for kind of that East Coast Philly feel a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely got that hardcore metal kick in for the
And
drop.
some EDM in there.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, there we go. Now that's my style, like EDM. And we had talked just briefly beforehand that if I ever get a fully built out game, that I definitely am going to be hitting you up for the audio help on it, because so much of a really good game, to get that immersive experience, is you got to have dope audio.
Oh
Just
yeah,
can't
man.
get around it.
That's
Like
part of the immersion.
any game that doesn't have it falls flat. So now, another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that I want to create a series of beginner meditations, Shane,
Okay.
because you're very aware that I like to sit for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people have that kind of mind yet. Let me just say that. I believe it can be trained. Perhaps you are somebody who has been to those realms using psychedelics. While I don't promote that because it's certainly not for everybody, if you've already been there, then you can get back with meditation, right? But maybe you haven't trained your mind to control that egoic voice inside your head, right? And so one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk to you about in the future is helping me come up with some atmospheric sounds to go with like a 10-minute hitter.
For
I think
sure.
we could help people to start bringing down from the beta into the alpha in about 10 minutes. And if we can get that going with a regular sit down of 10-minute meditations, then I think it'll open the door for longer, more expansive moments where you drop into that theta, and then maybe pop it up to that 40, 45 hertz for that gamma all
Yeah.
is one experience. But it can be a
Wow.
journey.
Yeah, man.
And
I know how to make the binaural beats and everything.
right, right. So we can just bring them down with a little bit of that smooth Southern voice that makes your mama take her
Yes,
panties off.
sir.
So,
Lehman Dollars.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what's been going on in your realm, Shane, other than busting out hits in the podcast room?
Oh man, I'm fucking working my ass off. Work's been busy as hell. But I just been listening to a lot of podcasts, trying to, stay higher vibrational. And a lot of people, it's been going around the podcast community lately, like everyone talks about, oh, kill your ego, kill your ego. And I'm with that too. Like the first time, like one time you need to do that, but you're literally your ego. So you need your ego. Your ego is your friend. I think Brandon Thomas said this. You just need to renegotiate like your contract with, because once you've come to this awakening, you kind of, you can recognize your higher self and your ego. And you just got to renegotiate which one has more control, because it seems like most of your life, your ego, it's just your ego fucking running rampant. Like, yeah, you did a good job, you got me this far, but maybe you can take the back seat from now on and let me handle this.
Right, right. Hey, I dig that. Like, okay, so say you're a person who has had the breakthrough experience, uh, whatever modality you used to get there, you felt the oneness with all that is. You realize that you're not just the drop, but you're the motherfucking ocean as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought that experience back, and you didn't lose it coming back, kind of deal.
Lost a
Just
lot of
like,
it, but
yeah, yeah. But
didn't
just
lose
like
that though.
But just like Brother Shane said, your ego, when unchecked, is like a horny fucking pit bull running through the neighborhood. Okay, it's gonna
Fucking shit
bang
up.
bang everything, knock over every trash can looking for food. You know, so one of the things that I have done, because for a long time I was ignorant about such things, and at some point, my ravenous pit bull ego was saying some fucked up shit. Frankly, it wanted me to be very violent for no reason, right? And but my soul was like, "This is not me. This is not me." So initially, all I was doing, because I didn't have any real tools to work with, I would just declare out loud, motherfucker, that ain't me. That's not who I am, and that's not what I'm here to do. And uh, like there would be days where like the voice inside my head would be like, "Why don't you just kill yourself?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, get the fuck away from me." And I was just tenacious. Eventually, it shut the fuck up to a certain degree. Now like uh, every couple of days, maybe it'll chirp up with some nonsense that another thing that I did that really helps quell that crazy part of the ego is I do this meditation regularly called changes, where you pick something that you do habitually that's not serving you. And I will go through a role playing where you take a shower in the morning and this feeling comes up. And instead of giving it any energy of like, no, I don't want you, or yeah, and falling into the dream, I go change. There's no emotion involved. It's very flatlined, and I choose better, right? And through this particular meditation, it has you do it like 3 times. And it seems hokey. It seems, a little woo wee. It fucking works, man. It is so effective
Wow.
taking control of that monster. So, like you said, tell the ego, look, you're good in some things. Like when maybe somebody's trying to rob me and I need to pick my feet up and put them down in a quick fashion to get the fuck out of here
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in the bad part of Baltimore that I don't need to be in. Ego
Boom.
is your friend in that situation.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
But then other times, your higher self, like in conversations like right now, higher self, take control and lead this forward. So, but the people who my small audience, they probably don't know who you are, Shane, and
Uh,
so so kind of give a snapshot of who you are at this tender age.
all right. So my name is Shane. I'm 25 years old. I am a father. I have a 2.5-year-old son. I have a wife. I've been doing lawn care and selling firewood my whole life. This is my dad's business. um, I've been a musician since I was about 10 years old, started playing drums, and now I play like drums, bass, and guitar. I like to sing. I do heavy metal vocals. I'm a music producer. I can, record a whole band, make it sound good. I can make electronic music. Recently just got into airsoft. That's a fucking blast. You get to shoot people and not really hurt them. It's the best thing in the world. It's like real life Call of Duty. You're like, oh man.
I told my wife
Great
about that.
exercise.
Yeah, I told my wife about that and said, I'm going to have to go over there with some makeshift armor on and just give them something to fucking shoot at.
Hell yeah, dude. Come on out, dude. I got extra gun, man. We're only like 3 hours away.
Oh yeah. Drop her off in Annapolis or the general area and keep on rolling.
There you go, man.
We'll have to make that happen.
Let's do it, man.
I mean, clearly an artistic individual.
I do a little bit of digital art.
Yep. And and then you got that music vein rolling. You got,
Oh yeah, that's the biggest, like,
as people would
artistic part of
say,
me.
you know your way around a digital audio workstation.
Indeed.
And and so, but at the same time, the way you make your daily is you're very much grounded. Like you're got your hands in the earth, right?
Yes, I love that.
There's something that tells me you don't get sick very often, do you?
No, like maybe once or twice a year, and
Okay,
like for
so
just a couple days.
yeah, so when I was a boy, I was that one that would come back home at night and I would have one blonde tuft of hair, but all the rest would be red clay because I just made a mudslide down the hill, right?
Yeah.
I don't get sick either. And I firmly believe it has a lot to do with all the microbes in the earth,
Hmm.
that I was constantly in contact with as a kid and
For
you
sure.
through your whole life. Matter of fact, this past Saturday, I was cutting down a tree, Shane, and it was a widowmaker and it needed to come down. And
Hmm.
but there was some good pieces to it. And I was like, man, because when I was a kid, I only had a Kingwood heater to heat the cabin that I lived in. And every piece of wood that I was just kind of throwing off into the grotto, I was like, this can heat the house. And it's strange,
Goddamn.
those connections that you have from those childhood experiences,
Yeah,
like, a connection to the land and I think that's a gift that we were given for whatever reason, you and
for sure. I was very lucky to be born into a 100-acre farm and
Right.
just spending every day, all day outside.
For sure. And like, I had 80 acres behind the place where I lived that I was allowed to just roam free. And then I had a 24-acre lake in front of me where,
Wow.
got in all kinds of trouble and, that sucker. So, being multidimensional as you are, I see you like on every level. You at least know a little bit about everything, right? And so, what's a very positive thing that you would like to impart on someone? Like,
Hmm.
if they're kind of listless and they're like, man, what the fuck is going on with these clowns in DC and what's going on with the mainstream media? What are a couple of things that you would say? Hey, do this, and this will kind of get you started in the right direction, Shane.
Okay, for one, turn that shit the fuck off. Two, exactly what we were just talking about. Go the fuck outside. Take your fucking shoes off. Like, I know if you're in a city or something, it might not be safe. You might want to leave your shoes on, but if you find a little patch of grass or something, pop them off for a couple minutes. Stick them in the dirt. Fucking man, just nature. Like, I took it for granted for a long time. And just because I don't know, I was always out in nature. And then I finally got a job working at Domino's. Just because I don't know, me and my dad had a little argument or something. But dude, I worked there for like 4 months. It was awful. Like, I only time I got to go outside was to like clean up trash in the fucking parking lot. And
Hmm.
man, I like really just go outside, get grounded, man. and I don't know, listen to nature. See, when I was young, I took probably only like 5 or 6 karate classes. But one of the things he taught us was to just sit and be still and listen for all the different sounds you can hear and then see if you can keep track of all of the different things you heard in like 5 minutes. If you can remember every single, like if a car drove by or how many cars drove by. And one that will pull you out of, oh my god, what's happening in DC, end of the world, um and back into yourself, and then that will give you more control to think about what you think to do, like the change meditation you were saying, and bring your vibe up, get more positive.
So, literally just before this, Nico and I were recording one for his, and one of the things that we were talking about, yeah,
Drink coconut water.
they drink coconut water. Get some good, clean water that's not coming from the system, you know. And
Mhm.
if you have to drink that system water, uh, say a intention over it that only the good will stay with you, and you will express the rest. You know, but we were talking about the potential that there's a bifurcation going on at this moment between people who obsess about the daily dose of clown nonsense. Like, I think today the daily dose is uh, a couple of guys were trying to impersonate being a federal employee and get some Secret Service people to do some dumb shit, right?
Hmm.
Okay, that's the daily dumb shit.
I just keep seeing the Will Smith bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing about Ukraine or COVID.
yeah. Because it's all fake. You know, now we're on the flavor of the week, which was Will Smith, and then they're trying to overtake that with the new narrative. And so, like, the best thing that you can do, like you said, turn off the nonsense and focus on what you actually want. And I kind of shared that one of the things that I've been manifesting is a owning a home in the greater DC area, because here $250,000 is not enough to buy a home,
No,
and
it's not.
it takes a little bit to fucking make that happen, frankly. And so
Indeed.
I've been putting a little into that. Well, this afternoon, if everything goes well, you know, my wife and I will be walking through our potential new home in this area.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. And, it's just kind of been like a snowball. I was telling Nico that I kind of point to he and I's first conversation where the snowball was at the top of the hill and it got a little push. And
Hmm.
as the months have rolled on, things have actually been getting better in my life, right? And ever the more I tighten my gaze onto the things that I actually want to experience and to have in my reality, like conversations with people who are creative like yourself, Shane, the
Yeah.
more that shit happens, the more I'm uh, being introduced to what I like to call tribesmen and tribeswomen who are creative and want to do cool shit and forget the fucking clown show.
Yes, man. Just want to fucking make art and help people while I'm doing it, or help other people make art.
That's damn right. And so, uh, like, uh, like one of the things that I am attempting to do is learn mediumship.
Hmm.
And the reason why I want to learn this is because I had a medium reading with Whitney Fox medium.com, giving her a plug because she helped me out so much. And it helped me lift 46 years of trauma off my back in a single
Hmm.
sitting. And so afterward, I talked to her about how I think I might have an ability there because, occasionally I have precog dreams
Mhm.
Occasionally, I just pull things out of the ether and they end up happening a few moments later. And so we've been going back and forth for about a month now. Well, 2 nights ago, we sat down for our first instruction, and it was such a positive experience. And so, one of the things that I want to do as my service to others is if I can drop that much weight off of my back in a single sitting with connecting with people that Whitney had no prior knowledge of beforehand, I would love to do that for other people. And
That's
so
amazing.
I started that process, and I think because I'm coming at it from, I don't necessarily want to use it to generate wealth. I just want to help the people who are brought to me through spirit, right?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and the money will work out itself in other ways. Like you have your 3D job with your family, right? Well, I'm working on something like that, and when I do that job, I'm just going to be so grateful, and I'm not going to get wrapped up into any nonsense about it. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and then I'm going to leave it at the end of the day, and then come hang out with magical motherfuckers like Shane Newsome.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so that's where I'm at in my life, man. It's like it seems like we're very much on similar trajectories moving forward,
I think so.
and like I think we're to the point where we need to like manifest something for the greater community, right?
Yes.
So, the Joe and Jen and Ben from Legit Bat.
I love them. I love them.
I love them too. Like you sent me that clip, I believe it was yesterday, and I absolutely loved what Jen was throwing down. And basically, what she was saying is, stop listening to the beliefs that other people put on you, and you define the parameters of your life. And in this particular clip, she was defining how long we live, right?
Yes.
And I completely agree with her that that's some word magic that they try to put under you, like 70, 80 years is the best you're going to do. The
Mhm.
remainder 10, 20 are going to suck balls. You're going to be in a nursing home, smelling
Just
your
and
own
shitting
urine.
yourself.
Yeah. And I don't think it has to be like that at all. Matter of
Mm-mm.
fact, I do this crazy thing, Shane, where every day I look myself in the mirror and I say, man, you're looking closer to 28 than 48 every time I look in this thing, right?
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I think most 46-year-old people would tend to say, damn, Lehman looks a little younger than me, you
Damn
know?
right. You look a little younger than the last time I talked to you.
Yeah, there we go. But so, word magic. Where can somebody get educated about that? Well, I've been thinking about that. And then I had this book that started mentally penetrating my reality. It's Pal Chang's book on word magic. Are you familiar, Shane?
I'm familiar. I have not read it.
Yeah, so um, that's something that I'm going to do a deep dive on because I think if we can become aware of the word magic, we can actually use it to reverse
Yes.
all the spells that they put on us, right? And I think we're one step closer to having those experiences that we spoke about on your podcast where we're basically fucking limitless.
Limitless.
And one of the things that
Walking
even
through walls.
that's one of the things that even the truth community will try to put on you. They say, oh, well, you have to be within the bounds of the physical reality,
Mm-hmm.
right? They'll say that to you. Well, who told them that bullshit?
Yeah, this is like what Sam Tripoli says. He says, I think they created the laws of physics to just keep you in a box.
Yeah. So, uh, ways that I guess what you have to do is you have to figure out ways to loosen the grip of some of these word spells that they've put on you. So, what does that look like? And, I'm just speaking extemporaneously here,
Hmm.
but you got to start pushing on some of these limits, right? You got to use that big brain of yours. You got to start pressing against them. So I know this is probably, just, random, but are there any limits that somebody tried to put on you in the last 25 years that you can think of offhand that you pushed back against and naturally you broke through a little bit and you're like, yeah, that don't apply to me no more?
So the biggest one I can remember, I think we talked about it on my show, is the whole solipsis thing. Um, when I was a little kid, I told my dad, I was like, hey, like, do you think this is all like just for you? And like, if I'm not looking at something, there's nothing behind me, And he was just like, no, son, you're crazy. Don't say that to anybody ever. Stop thinking that way. We're going to church. And and it took me probably another 10 or 12 years. When I was about 15 or 16, I made my way back around this way.
Yeah. Hey, that's a big one. And that's no dig on your pops. He was just going with what he
No.
knew. And he was
Yep.
trying to protect you from other
Yep.
people. So,
100%. Yeah. So I'm not holding anything against him.
right, right. But, and he was just repeating what was given to him.
Hmm.
Right. And so I am fairly certain that your son is going to be one magical motherfucker.
Oh, I hope so. He already is now.
Yeah. So that's one. And so you pushed back against that, I'm assuming, with the aid of
Psychedelics.
yeah, psychedelics, no beating around the bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the spirit science stuff started coming up. It's basically a animated version of Drinvilla Melchizedek's Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life books. And yeah, that stuff was really popping up. And I was starting to really question things. And then I started smoking cannabis, and that opened way more doors and let me accept some of the new age stuff. And you know, fucking LSD, man,
Yeah.
broke the
Yeah.
walls down.
It was certainly a part of my path as well. And like I said earlier, it's not everybody's path.
No,
Right?
for sure not.
So one of the things I
Listen to
like,
your intuition.
yes,
Someone tells you
one
don't fucking take this shit. Don't take this shit because someone told you to.
right, right, yeah. It'd be wonderful if you had a
And no
very
expectations either. Sorry to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
interrupting you. But if you are expecting to take LSD and have some experience that I've described and it's completely different, like, and you have a horrible experience or something, like, it's like I already told you, it's not for everybody, and everybody's experience is different, and don't have any expectations.
and that goes across the board. Like every time you sit down for meditation, one of the worst things you can do is to expect something similar to the last one that was mind blowing. You have to leave all the baggage at the door, right?
Hmm.
This is a kind of a trip that you don't necessarily need to take your toothbrush for.
So this is kind of where you can leave the ego behind,
Yeah,
and not in a bad way. You're not
right.
killing it. You're just like, hey, you can chill here.
We're going to give the other voice the megaphone for a minute and see what happens, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And so one of the things that you could probably do, like a technique that anybody could literally use because it's safe, and it will show you that this realm is far more magical than most people think, is that before you lay down, take a couple minutes to kind of fall into a deep, slow breathing pattern, right?
Okay.
And then once you feel like the weight of the day fall off and you are like sitting in your bones, right? I would like people to speak to your pituitary gland, and I want you to say these things. I want you to say, please release the chemical cocktail that will cause my pineal gland to release dimethyltryptamine. And that's all you have to do.
Wow.
And then lay down and fall asleep. And as the kids say, fuck around and find out. I've done that before. And that was one of the times that I had spiritual beings show up and do a little bit of that orgasmic energy work on me.
Yeah.
And it's just what's going on there? I am setting an intention. My mind is having an effect on matter by telling a body part to do a process.
Yeah.
This sets off a chain of events that when that dimethyltryptamine starts dripping down the back of your throat, kind of like your sister does, then you'll automatically start having a wild experience. I had to get you, Shane.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a fucking wild experience.
Look, man, don't listen to
Dude.
anybody give you any kind of damn spiritual advice that can't laugh at his own self.
Damn
you know?
right, man. For real. We were talking about that. Don't fucking take yourself too seriously.
So, but yeah,
And I mean, that goes to show everything has to do with everything. Like you can literally command your fucking organs to do shit.
that's right. So one of the ways I prove this stuff to myself all the time. Like, I'm a big dude. Like, I am 6'3", and I'm probably running about 363 right now.
Oh,
And if I'm not 363, I'm 369.
hell yeah.
So, but I shoot baskets. I try to several times a week, and I try to get up 100 points, and I do it full court.
Hell yeah.
Well, there's not a lot of people my size down at the basketball
Hell
court
no.
doing 100 points, you know. And occasionally, because I am exerting force, massive force on my body, I'll get a little tinge, right? And I got this thing where, like, if it's my right side of my body, I will instantly stop and start tapping my fingers on the opposite hand. And I will put all of my intention on that hand, and I will feel my fingerprints against them. I'll be giving it my absolute attention, taking my attention off the body part that I just pinged.
Okay.
So I'll do that for a good 30 seconds. And then I'll do a shakeout, and then I'll take the ball out and I'll dribble down the other side, and inevitably that body part will not be pinging me anymore.
Wow.
And I've been
I'm totally
doing
gonna
that.
try that. I have like a
I've been
pinched
doing that
nerve
for
in
a
my
long
back.
time. Yeah. And it works. And it's just like anything that you reaffirm to yourself, right? I'm sure Shane several times a year tells people, I just don't get sick.
Yeah.
He's declaring
Yeah.
that shit. He's
Yeah.
willing that. And I do the same thing.
Wow. Yeah.
And it goes back to that word magic, right? And the reason why I want to maybe have a book club or something on this damn book, so we
Yeah.
can dissect it and maybe give some solutions to some people where they can push back against the machine.
Oh, dude,
A
if you
little bit.
do a book club of that, and like we do like a little mini series or something, I'd love
Yeah.
to be a part of that.
Well, yeah, for sure. That's the reason why I'm bringing it up. Because some of these things you do organically, naturally, right? And to a certain degree, I do them. But what would happen if we put the full brunt of our awareness on what's
Yeah.
actually going on? And I think we could bring something forward to the people that would give them a fucking lightsaber, frankly, when they're
Yes,
facing the
man.
Sith Lord.
Yes. See, I've been trying to get something going. Have you ever heard of I forget the name of the lady who does the work, but it's the Power of Eight. And so you get a group of 8 or more people together, and you all put your intention on the same thing, like they're like healing people instantly and stuff, people with
Mastermind,
sickness. And yeah, so I've been trying to get a group of that together, just try to, there's stuff going around with the orgone stuff, they're
right?
busting towers and fighting geoengineering and stuff. Like, I don't know if we even need those physical things to do this stuff. Like, we can
I
just
don't.
do it with our intention. And if
I
we
think
get
we
a
can
group
too.
of powerful minded people like us together, all using the same intention, like, I think we can really make a positive change in this world.
So Napoleon Hill, in a couple of his books that he released in the 1930s and 1940s, he brought up the concept of the mastermind, where a group of people come together under with a singular intent, and they
Hmm.
create this super mind that's able to bring about change in that way. So I am all about that. We just got to find a few more, and
Hell yeah.
that are dedicated, right?
Yep.
Man, I mean,
Limitless.
this was,
Limitless.
yeah, this was one of those preordained conversations,
Indeed.
and I'm like, I'm tingling everywhere. It's There we go, Shane. There we go. That's so. Now that we kind of have a focus
Was-
on where we're heading forward, and because I have a very important situation coming up that I need to prepare for. This is going to be it's going to be a short little mini hitter of
That's
the Shane
fine.
Newsome, but I want everybody to go to Spotify and check out his show. And if it resonates, give him that 5-star dinger, because it
Man,
helps
thank you.
him reach more people. You're on, I believe you're on Apple as well, right, Shane?
I'm on pretty much everything except Apple.
Okay,
Apple
there.
keeps fucking me around. They won't let me on. I don't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Go everywhere but Apple. And,
Yeah.
I guarantee you, because he covers so many different topics, you will find something that's in your lane. So with that, I will definitely be having Shane on again, probably about the Pow Chang book. I really want to bring that forward. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in and have a great night.